What was T-Rex's favorite number? 8. All right, today we're going to start with a new unit, Synthesize While Listening. You can find that right here on my homepage. Here are your AWL words: contrast, synthesize, similarities, and require. These can be found on the introduction page, okay, in the textbook. So, our learning goal here is we are learning to use what we already know, plus what we didn't know, to reach a new understanding of something we listen to in this case. This is a strategy called synthesizing, and it helps show our understanding more clearly. Okay, so you may have done synthesizing before in your reading unit, where you take what you already know plus what you didn't know to reach a new understanding of something. But in this case, we're going to do it to something we listen to. So basically, when you synthesize, we ask ourselves these two questions: how has my thinking changed, and what do I understand now that I didn't understand before? So let's review how to synthesize. First, look at page 32 in Nelson Literacy 8C. The introduction page is there. You need to read that. All right. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to read this speech to you. All right. And I'm going to demonstrate to you below how to take jot notes, which were introduced in grade 7, but we're going to review it now. Okay. So using jot notes as you listen, in order to have something to write down later. You're going to have to write a paragraph about something you listen to, so you need to take notes while you listen, okay? So that you can get to this phase right here, okay? So, the campaign speech. Let's go. Good morning, everybody. My name is Keegan Vandervelde, and I'm asking for your support in my campaign to become the next president of the Student Council. I have attended this school since my first day of school. I know it really well. I served on the student council last year as the representative for my grade, so I have lots of experience in tackling big issues and working as a team to make good decisions on your behalf. There are two main issues we need to focus on this year. We hear a lot of news reports of how students aren't that physically fit anymore. How many of you would like to have the opportunity to play more sports at lunch or after school? If I'm elected, I'll work hard to have more sports programs for you to enjoy. Secondly, I'd like to help get our school to form a partnership with an ecology program so we can help make our school program more green. There are many kinds of partnerships that we could look into, and we could join a network of schools that are already involved. If you have any other suggestions for things I can do to make your school life better, please let me know. Thank you for your attention. On election day, please vote for me so I can work for you. So as you're listening to that, okay, you'd be taking notes over here, okay? And these notes might look something like this. These are all the things that I wrote down as I listened to that speech, okay? First thing you're going to do is make connection notes. So you're going to make connections, right? You're going to write down any similar experiences you've had connected to that topic. Right? So, for example, when Keegan talks about sports and ecology, it reminds me of the different interest groups we had in my school. The sports crowd, for example, the academic crowd, or the environmentalist crowd, and there were some others too. Okay? I also thought about this one. Many students in my high school ran for student council president, so we had an afternoon assembly to listen to everyone's campaign speeches. So these are connections that I made as I listened to Keegan's speech, okay, when I listened to this one. I also thought about these things too, but I decided to just focus on these ones here, okay? So these were all notes that I made as I listened to the speech. And I chose just two connections that I made, okay? I want to highlight these two connections. Of course, I thought about this, but I'm just going to highlight these two for now, okay? I'm not going to take everything. The next thing is to compare. Write down what you already know about the topic. So, as I listened to that speech, I made compare notes as well, and I highlighted this one. I already knew being elected student council president is difficult if there's a lot of competition. However, I also already knew these two things, okay? The next thing you're going to do is contrast. Write down what you learned about the topic. New information or something different that you think. Okay, so these are my contrast notes. I highlighted this one. I learned that an ecology program might be just as popular as a sports program for a large population of any school. Okay, I remember he said in here, I'd like to help get our school to form a partnership with an ecology program so we can help make our school more green. There are many kinds of partnerships that we could look into, and we could join a network of schools that are already involved. So from that, I learned that an ecology program might be just as popular as a sports program for a large population of any school, because the president, this guy Keegan, decided to mention that in his speech. All right. So usually people who are wanting to be student council president will mention things that he thinks most of the students are interested in. Okay, so he's trying to get elected, right? So if many people are not interested in these sort of ecology programs, he might not mention that in his speech because he wants to touch on something most of the people in his school are kind of into or interested in, so that they'll feel like, wow, he's going to start an ecology program, that's great, so I'm going to elect him. Okay, so I learned that ecology programs and sports programs can share equal status in a school, or can be just as popular as each other. Okay, so next what you're going to do is take those three notes and synthesize. Okay, you're going to take your connection notes, your compare notes, and your contrast notes and synthesize. And this is really what we need to do. We need to make a paragraph. Write down what you now understand about the topic in a paragraph. So here it is. I put all these notes together and I color-coded them for you to see them in here. Okay? So, the speech, Keegan's campaign speech by Keegan Vandervelde, discusses what a student will do for the students in his school if elected student council president. For example, he talks about starting a sports program because students aren't physically fit anymore, and he mentions initiating or joining an already existing ecology program. I already knew that being elected student council president is difficult if there is a lot of competition, because I have experienced many campaign speeches in my school. However, I learned that having an ecology program might be just as popular as a sports program for a large population of any school, since there are many different interest groups in a school. Remember I talked about interest groups? Okay, here. Now I understand that to be elected as student council president, you have to appeal to a wide audience of students, not just athletes, or not only people interested in environmental issues, but both of them. Okay, so this is how I put it all together. And as you can see, there is a specific format that you need to follow. All right, so you need to copy basically this style here. I want to highlight some of the things that I've put in here. Okay, so in the first paragraph, I say the kind of text. Okay, in this case, it's a speech, but it could be any kind of text, like a movie, a YouTube video, a podcast. Okay, then you give the title. In this case, Keegan's campaign speech. Okay, then the author, Keegan Vandervelde, and then you write down what it discusses. Okay, so the topic, and you would use the word maybe discusses. This is just an example, but you could use other words that mean the same thing. Okay, oops, dot dot dot. And so then you write what it talks about, or what the topic is. And then you give an example, for example. Okay, dot dot dot, right here. He talks about, and give an example from the text. Then you get into your compare notes. So you write, I already knew. Okay, and then you connect that to something you've experienced before, you've read before, or seen before. So your connection notes here, this blue part, okay? All right, so and then you got your connection notes. Connection to what you already knew or know. Okay, so you write in here, I know this, that it's hard to become student council president because I have experienced many campaign speeches in my school. So there's a connection note connected to the compare note. Okay, then you go ahead with what you learned. So I learned is the next thing here. So however, I learned, and then you go ahead with what new learning you got, or anything you're contrasting it to, something that maybe is different. So I learned, and then again I connected it. Okay, connection. Okay, to something I already know. Okay, or connect something. Connect what you learned with something you already know or have experienced. So you again make a connection here. Then the big part is the synthesizing part. So now I understand, and then you tell me, or you write what you understand now as a result of listening to that text. Okay, so that's how it's done. Please follow this exact format, and you can't go wrong. All right, or there's lesser chance of you going wrong anyways. Okay, here's another example. Here, slightly different words and a lot shorter. Okay, so that's how you do it. After you've watched this video, then you can move on to the next activity over here. Okay, Practically Twins 3.1, and just follow the instructions here. Okay, just before reading, during reading, and that's it. Okay, good luck.